Hey people, YouTube land. I'm back with another video, and this is my girlfriend here.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the eighth generation of consoles, why we're excited for it, and at the same time we're not excited. You want to start?
Well, the reason I'm excited about it is because they're coming out with all these new games, I guess. Like, I'm probably kind of looking forward to the one game of Bayonetta coming out.
Yeah, I'm too. The games also they count. The games also count, and plus I'm liking the new IPs that are coming out. But there's a kind of a big issue a lot of people are not seeing with eighth generation, and that is in terms of not just graphics. Let's just leave graphics out of the equation. The gameplay. It's like, what is it about these upcoming games that their gameplay is supposed to be next generation? Like, what's going to be so next generation about a first-person shooter, a sports game, an RPG, uh, racing sim, let's see, fighting game, pretty much any genre game out there, you name it. Like, what's supposed to be so next gen about it aside from the graphics? It seems like the only way to get true next gen, like innovative play style, is with through indie games. So that's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I really think like indie games nowadays are really bringing something new to the table and everything. I mean, I do some games I do like, like the Harvest Moon series and Rune Factory that was recently come out. That was kind of a new idea mixed to it, but it just kind of seems like all these new games are kind of rehashes of the olds that we had on the current generation we have right now. So,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about was like the new. Let's just say, let's look at Assassin's Creed 4, Call of Duty, and Battlefield 4. What's going to be so next gen about those games aside from the graphics? Like, really, what is it about those games that is entirely different from our current gen to the next gen? What's going to be entirely different about those? Question is, we don't know yet, but maybe they may have a surprise for us when these games, hit the streets soon. But who knows? We just have to wait and see.
yeah, I don't know exactly. I can't really see anything new coming out that I'd see. Um, I mean, they tried doing something new with like the Wii when it first came out with the Move, and then PlayStation and Xbox tried to copy it with Kinect and the PlayStation Move, but that that didn't turn out very well in my opinion.
Yeah. Another thing I'm not looking forward to eighth generation is all the YouTube commentators that are going to be hitting the site. Come with all these external capture devices and the PS4 and the Xbox One. You're going to see so many people try to cash in on that YouTube money and try to be like the next biggest YouTube star. Well, I can say this, even though I should speak, even though I do have a couple views, I do have a few subscribers, but the thing is, if if you've been on YouTube for like more than 3 years, you have hardly any views, you have basically no subs. It's like, what do you think? Like, do you think that's really gonna change? Because you might get these next systems and start uploading gameplay, but there's gonna be millions of players doing the exact same thing you are, and anything, it's only gonna get harder. It's only gonna get harder for you if you decide to like step up your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, we have these other famous video game commenters, like Total Biscuit, Angry Joe, and I think the guy who does that Francis video.
Bogey
Yeah,
2938 or
yeah.
whatever the last four digits are.
Yeah, but they do something that kind of catches people's attention. Total Biscuit, he's not afraid to make his fans angry. While Angry Joe, he kind of has a joking style to him that's I really like. And then the Boogie, well, that guy, he does the Francis impersonation, so that's what attracts people. I think in order to get more viewers, you gotta have that thing that makes you different from the other YouTubers.
Yeah. Also, I think what they need to do for this generation is make sequels of games people have been asking for. People have message boards and forums talking about how this game needs a remake. I think this generation, I think game developers need to start paying attention to more what we the fans want. Now we let's look at Bioware. We all know they have an impressive track record by listening to their fan base. They listen. You know, more companies they need to step up and be like Bioware. If your customers bought your product or talking about something or giving you suggestions, I think you should indulge on that.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do think BioWare is that compared to a lot of the other companies, they do listen to their fans. I mean, now that can be debatable kind of now what with when the ending with Mass Effect 3 and everything, but I'm really kind of looking forward to Dragon Age 3. Hopefully they'll listen to the fans and really make that game really good, but we'll see when it comes out.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that JRPGs, get better. Now, I'll be honest, I love RPGs. I do have to admit some JRPGs are declining a little. Let's look at Final Fantasy. Let's look at Final Fantasy 13. Compared to games like Final Fantasy 10, 13 was garbage. I'm sorry, but it was awful. Now, I'm not saying the game was bad. I'm not saying the game was bad in general. I'm just saying compared to 10, it was bad. But as a standalone title, the game was decent. Definitely was not worth the $60. But if I go to GameStop, I can see that game for $20. But like I said, it's not the best game ever. It's not the worst game ever. But if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, you should still pick it up. And we have and there's also one thing I do want to mention about these next gen systems. Like, which system will get more exclusive content? Now, I've been hearing a lot of stories about the Xbox One not having exclusive content. Now, at first, well, there's a difference. They are getting exclusive content, but it's timed exclusive, which means after a certain time frame, it'll be coming out on PC, PS4, 360, PS3, and possible the Wii U. But still, like, it makes you wonder what kind of exclusive content you're going to be on Sony. For example, look at Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15. I'm willing to bet that the Xbox One version of the games are going to be ports, while the Sony version of those two games are going to have exclusive content.
I think so too. I mean, they've just now recently released the Kingdom Hearts HD point 5, I believe, and that's kind of more exclusive to the Xbox 3 than not Xbox, sorry, PlayStation 3 than Xbox and stuff.
Yeah. So, those are thoughts about next generation. We're excited, but at the same time, we're not because, like, if there's one advice I got to give to you people, is like keep your expectations in check for 8th gen, because honestly, graphics, yeah, they were, but they weren't mind blowing. Going back to the PS2 era, the transition between PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, that was amazing. But when I saw these next gen graphics, honestly, they weren't really. I wasn't really blown away because we all know graphics aren't everything if the game has a non-existent story and the gameplay is garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when having a PlayStation 2 and I made that transition to the Nintendo 64, I was blown away, especially when playing Ocarina of Time. And there was a time actually when I kind of switched to handhelds, but I could also see like the transition from the Nintendo 64 graphics to like PlayStation 2, Xbox, and the GameCube. That was mind blowing as well, though it wasn't the same as when the 2D to 3D and stuff. It kind of seems more like it's making smaller leaps. I think kind of if we want to see something in the next mind blowing, it would probably be the Oculus Rift when it came to doing games. I'm actually kind of looking forward to playing that with the Skyrim mod.
Yeah, the Oculus Rift, yeah, that too, that'd be mind blowing. And like I said before, we need mind blowing gameplay because honestly, there's nothing next gen about the gameplay of the upcoming games because it's stuff that we've been doing since this gen, last gen, 5th gen, and so forth. Nothing mind blowing. Like, look at the Wii U. Some people say it's 8th generation and not the hate on the. Well, the thing about the Wii U, I look at it like this. It is a bit more powerful than the PS3 and Xbox 360. But is it on par with the PS4 and Xbox One? No. Not by a long shot.
Yeah, that I have to agree with you. I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and I'm actually waiting a little bit before I get the Wii U, but even I'm disappointed with some of the games they've come out with, and, they're not really coming out with any new IPs either. I think with the Wii U, if they imported more indie titles, I think their business would get better, but I don't know. It just seems like they're kind of stuck in a rut where they just stick to one way, and that's the only way it works.
Yeah, honestly, I think for Nintendo, I think it would be best for them if they just went hooked up with some indie developers and got some indie games on their console.
Oh,
I think a
definitely.
lot of people would definitely appreciate that, as opposed to getting all these half third-party games with get features. Like, oh man. But I'm probably gonna make a separate video on Nintendo. I already made Nintendo Rant earlier. You guys have watched that, but I think I'm gonna make a part two to it because there have been a lot of developments with Nintendo recently, and I feel like I need to discuss that. So stay tuned for part two of my Nintendo Rant. But anyway, like this is our thoughts about the 8th generation console, and be sure to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.
Nice meeting you all.